It's game week. Hi, and welcome to Prep Rally, our weekly prep sports video show dedicated to prep sports all across Northwest Arkansas. I'm your host, Chip Souza, the sports editor of the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. So football season is finally here, and our staff reporters and photographers, we are anxious to bring you all the action every week and every day in the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, as well as online at arpreps.com. So a number of teams actually got their season started early this week. They started on Monday. Pea Ridge went down to Conway and played in the Hooten's Kickoff Classic. They played at UCA's Estes Stadium on the purple and gray stripes down there. The Blackhawks, they're coming in to this season off an historical season in 2016 where they went to the state finals for the first time in program history. So the Blackhawks were anxious to get it started on Monday, and boy, did they get it started in a big way. They absolutely pounded Hamburg 50-30 down at UCA. Drew Wynn, he's a senior running back. He rushed for 170 yards and 4 touchdowns in that win. Quarterback Jakota Sainsbury was also solid in the game. He finished 14 of 19 passing for 222 yards and 3 touchdowns. Blackhawks coach Stephen Neal, this is his second season there. He liked what he saw after the game.
Well, you know, in the first game of the season, you never know how your kids are going to react, you know, and we still got such a young, inexperienced team. You know, things like that happen sometimes. But the good thing was we came back, we performed the way we were capable of performing, we weathered the storm. I thought from Hamburg the storm was going to be much earlier than when it occurred, but when it did occur, we were able to weather, we were able to come out with a win, a very important win for us over a really good athletic football program.
So while Pea Ridge was winning its first game of the season on Monday, Prairie Grove and Farmington decided to move their game up. This is the traditional Battle of Highway 62. They moved their game up this year from a normal Friday game to a Tuesday game and played in Farmington. And Prairie Grove was able to claim that Battle of Highway 62 on Tuesday night, 36-13. Running back Anthony Johnson had a big game for the Tigers. We knew he would. The Jet was on his game. He scored a couple of touchdowns. And also first-year quarterback J.D. Elder, he had a big game for Prairie Grove. So a big win for the Prairie Grove Tigers, and they do indeed own Highway 62 for another year. We talked to a couple of Prairie Grove players and coaches after the game, and here's what they had to say after the big win.
It felt great. You know, the line came out and they blocked really well. The defense came out and got a really big stops. And, you know, John David, he looked really good in his first start. And it was just awesome to see, you know, the team come together. You know, we're short on players this year, and we fought through it, and we came out top.
Also on Tuesday, down in the River Valley, this is also another big, long-time Crawford County rivalry. Alma taking on Van Buren. They call that the Battle of the Bone. You got the Alma Airedales and the Van Buren Pointers, 2 dogs going at it. This year it was again Alma for the 7th year in a row. Alma won this rivalry 21-14 on Tuesday night. So big win for the Airedales there. And a little bit farther down in the River Valley, Charleston, remember they were a state finalist a year ago in Class 3A. They went on the road and knocked off Dardanelle on Tuesday night. They had to rally late. The Tigers scored a touchdown in the final seconds to win that game. So a big start for the Charleston Tigers, big win for them on Tuesday night. So here's a look at all the scores of the games that were played early in the week on Monday and Tuesday across the state. So Pea Ridge coming off its big win on Monday, they had about 15 minutes to celebrate that win because the Blackhawks have 2 games on the first week of the season. So they beat Hamburg on Monday 50-30. They turn right around today and take that Yellow Dog bus all the way down to Boonville, where they're going to play a huge game tonight against Boonville. Boonville is a perennial power. They are the team that's favored to win the 4A4 conference. So another tough game for Pea Ridge tonight. Now, Pea Ridge also has a chance to be the #1 ranked team in 4A after this week. Of course, a lot of that will depend on tonight, beating Boonville. But Warren, the previous #1 team and the team that beat Pea Ridge in the 4A state championship game last year, they were knocked off on Tuesday by Little Rock Christian. So Pea Ridge has a chance to jump into that #1 spot this week. We'll take a break right here, and when we come back, we'll take a look at some big games that will be played tonight all across Northwest Arkansas. So the rest of the teams around the region, they have been, just foaming at the mouth to get going. They're tired of, scrimmaging against their friends and buddies and whatever. And so they are ready to see a team with a different color uniform and helmet on tonight, I'm sure. So we got some absolutely great matchups all across the region. We'll start out with Springdale. The Bulldogs will host Conway at Gerald Williams Bulldog Stadium. That will be a big game for the Red Dogs tonight. And over in Bentonville West, remember they were a first-year program last year. This year, they've got 22 starters back because they didn't have a senior last year. So all their starters are back, and the Wolverines are going to open the season at home this year. Last year, they started their program. They had both games were on the road. Well, this year they get the first week and the second week games at home at Tiger Stadium. So the Wolverines will host Pryor, Oklahoma tonight. So that'll be a big game for the Wolverines. Should have a big crowd out there at Bentonville for that. There'll be a lot of teams tonight that'll be on the road, like some long road trips. Bentonville High, for example, they're going to Kansas City. They're going to be playing Rockhurst tonight. That'll be a big game for them. It's always a big game. Those teams have played each other in the past few years. And then Harbor is going to be on the road. They're going to be playing old 7A West rival Fort Smith Southside down there tonight in Fort Smith. So they'll be on the road for that. And then Fayetteville, they're the defending state champions. Remember, they begin the Billy Dawson era tonight. He's the new coach that was hired last spring. They will begin that Billy Dawson era tonight. They're going to be up in Missouri playing Blue Springs. We'll have a list of all the games played across the state a little bit later in the show. So not only football going on in the area, but volleyball action is heating up as well. And we had a big match on Tuesday night at Springdale Harbor. The Lady Wildcats took on Conway, and they were able to win that match 3-1. Lady Wildcats coach Shira Schishler, she saw a lot of positives in that match win.
Right, so this is a totally different group for me than last year, and that this group has learned from the group that we had. And one thing I love about them is they stay patient. They don't get frazzled. They don't look at each other and want somebody else to do it. They're learning to take it themselves, and so I love that they didn't get overwhelmed. They knew Conway was going to come out hard, so I just love that consistency and that leadership from the upperclassmen tonight.
Volleyball will kick off conference action. Now, they've only been playing a couple of weeks, but they will start conference play on Thursday, and right off the bat, we have a big one in Bentonville as the Lady Tigers will take on the defending champion Fayetteville Lady Purple Dogs. So big volleyball action already started, conference play already starting on Thursday night. We'll take a break right here, and when we come back, we're going to bring you the legendary, the one and only, the big-time guy, Rick Fires. He'll be back with his expert picks for tonight's football games. And now we're back to our most popular segment of Prep Rally every week. It's Rick's Picks. We bring Rick Fires in. He is our professional, always on the money prognosticator. He picks the winners every week in high school football, and you can take those picks to the bank. And Rick, it's time. Rick, it's time for the picks. Rick.
Who? What? Why? What
What are you doing?
Man, I feel so. I'm waiting for the eclipse. The time.
The eclipse?
Yes, the eclipse.
What are you picking, the eclipse?
No.
It's time for your picks, man.
It's time. What?
September.
It's football season.
Football season.
Oh, let's go. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go. All right, hold up. I'm not quite ready. Do I have time?
I would say you're not ready.
Okay. Hold up. Hold up, I'll be back. Wait, this is okay.
I think you missed a spot.
Oh, that's good.
Looking good.
All right, I'm ready.
Go. He's up and he's ready. Rick, who you got for the first week?
All right, your first week winners are Fayetteville, Alma, Prairie Grove, Pea Ridge, Harbor, Charleston, Harrison, Rogers Heritage, Rogers High.
Amazing. Amazing.
Rick's Picks.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that was Rick Fires. No, really it was Rick Fires. That was Rick. Each week, Rick is going to bring us those picks. Hopefully next week, he actually sets his alarm. He'll be ready to go. But as you can tell, Rick jumps right off the couch, able to throw those picks right out there, and those are locks that you can take to the bank this week. So much of the focus on high school football and high school sports in general lies on the student athletes. And Bentonville High's Carson Little, he's proven he can carry the load when it comes to the student part of being a student athlete. This senior center, he takes his studies with the same ferocity as he does against his opponent on the Friday night football field. He is not only a good football player, but he is also an accomplished musician. And in addition to that, he is also heavily involved in the International Baccalaureate program. That is not something you see every day in a football player or an athlete in general, but this is how serious this young man takes his academic part of being the student athlete. The biggest obstacle for him is finding time to do it all, but he has found a way to do this and do it at a high level. Our Henry Apple has a story in this week's Prep Spotlight.
I just have this drive to try and be better than everyone else, which sounds kind of narcissistic, but I mean, I just feel comfortable like that.
He's like a rocket scientist, and he's a great leader. He works hard. Just a great kid. He plays.
And all the music stuff and football don't conflict that much, and when they do, it's just communication. The biggest thing is just staying organized, I guess.
So Henry will also have a print story on Carson in today's Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Be sure and pick up a copy of that. And there will also be a full video that we've done on Carson. You can see that video at nwadg.com as well as at arpreps.com. So that's it for this week's show. Stay with us all year long as we bring you all of the prep sports for all across Northwest Arkansas each week. Also, don't forget, be sure and pick up a copy of Prep Rally. That's our big football preview. If you didn't get a copy, come by one of the newspaper offices. We can get you one. They're also going to be available in some locations around Northwest Arkansas. So be sure and get that. We preview all the teams from Harrison all the way down to Waldron and all points in between. So be sure and pick up a copy of Prep Rally Football Preview. So for all of us at the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Prep Rally.